Well, first, thank Collective PAC for this beautiful opportunity to make significant change. And that's why I'm running. For too long, far too long, and for far too many people, the justice system has been vastly unjust. And I'm running to bring true equality and justice across the board. And I want to focus on the future. I want to inspire folks. I want to bring hope and show people that we can move in a new direction. If we get things right in the justice system here in Georgia, I think we'll help influence the South. Once the rest of the South starts to follow what we do here in Georgia, I think you'll start to see changes happen across the country. I would want to be able to play the piano and be able to sing. I think that music is a beautiful thing that connects people all over the globe. Music has broken down barriers of racism and sexism, classism. You know, music is something that connects all of us, and I wish I had that skill to be able to sing and play the piano. I think is one of my favorite instruments. It started in 2005. In 2005, I was seeking an internship in Atlanta from Ohio. I pull up at Grady Hospital on March 11, 2005, and I get pulled over by police. Full riot gear. They have the AR-15s that pull me out of the car at gunpoint. You know, the AR-15 shoved in my face. And they never tell me why they pulled me over. They never tell me what I did. So I find out later I fit the description of Brian Nichols. Brian Nichols had just killed a judge, a court reporter, a bailiff, and I think maybe some other people down here in Atlanta. There was a big manhunt for him, and I fit the description. So really in that moment, I was a senior in undergrad, pursuing a health administration degree, but that's what made me start thinking about wanting to go to law school. In that moment, I knew I wanted to be the difference between at least one Black man going to college instead of going to prison. I wanted to be the difference in trying to catch young Black men before they got to the point of where he was in his life that led him to commit those terrible acts of violence that day. And then I was fed up for myself too, of dealing with police unnecessarily, dealing with police in ways that members of the Black community have experienced for generations, and my family included. I mean, I grew up in a family heavily involved in the criminal justice system, from seeing my mother get arrested, my grandmother get arrested, and so many other family members and friends. I think I started to think at that moment, you know, if I get the chance to go to law school, I know I'm going to do something to help more people who look like me be better in the system and be treated better in the system. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch much TV lately. I did catch a little bit of the NFL draft last night. I wanted to see who the Atlanta Falcons picked and who my hometown Cincinnati Bengals picked. But there is a show that I've been trying to watch whenever I can. It's a show called Winning Time on HBO. It's about, or it's loosely based on, the 80s dynasty of the Los Angeles Lakers. And I did catch an episode with one quote that I think is worth mentioning here. Dr. Jerry Buss, or the actor who portrays Dr. Jerry Buss in that show, opened up on one episode talking about someone running the mile under 4 minutes, how for generations it had never been accomplished, and it was something that human beings simply thought could not be accomplished. Where along comes this guy who's not an athlete, who's not a track runner, he's actually a scientist, and he runs it in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. So what that proved is, you know, our limitations are mental. You know, the only limitation is the mind. If we push our minds to do anything, we can do it. And so I know this isn't the question, but for anybody watching this, you know, I want Black people to really start believing and understanding and being inspired to know that we can play major roles in politics. You know, we've been conditioned for so long to think that we're not qualified, that we're not capable, but those are limitations that other people put on us. And we need to start breaking that and start getting involved, because we can, we should, we will, and let's go. First way is how many folks were able to get successfully in diversion programs across the state who otherwise would not have gone through it because it doesn't exist, or because DAs and the current Attorney General doesn't focus on it. I think that's one really big measuring stick that we'll be able to use. Two, it's how many schools are we able to partner with across the state to really help break that school to prison pipeline, where we're going in being visible and accessible to the kids, just as positive influences with them and amongst other community stakeholders. Three, it's how many minority-led law firms, that being Black-owned or other ethnicities and women-owned law firms, start to get contracts with the Attorney General's office. So those are three things that I can think of off the top of my head that would be really we'll be able to measure during that first year to say, hey, since I've been the Attorney General, we've made really, really big headway in these three areas. And there's a bunch of other areas and things that we want to do as well, but those are the first three that I think will really show the big shift that we've made under my leadership. So we have this, my kids have this thing where on Fridays they like to eat Chick-fil-A and watch a movie. Right now, the movie selection is really controlled by my 3-year-old. She wants to watch Encanto, you know, 1,000,000 times back to back to back to back. So I really look forward to that time where I know Fridays we're going to go to Chick-fil-A, we're going to watch Encanto. But outside of that, you know, we try to get outside too. We try to take walks as a family as much as we can. You know, let the kids run around, let my wife and I get to move around a little bit outside. But then it's also important for us too, just to stay grounded in our faith. And we spend time in church on Sundays as well. The first is the first time I went to Savannah, and I met a woman named Tia at a place called Kim's Cafe. And she said, you know what, I'm from Fraser Homes Projects. And she said, I've never seen a candidate for office come and walk through my projects and come and meet and talk to folks. But she said, candidates always want our votes. You know, candidates, Black, white, or whoever else, they always say, hey, vote for us, but they won't even come and see us. So I told Tia that it would be an honor for me to be the first one to do that. And I'm actually leaving for Savannah tonight to go there at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning to walk through Fraser Homes Projects with her and just to go meet people where they are. So that's one of the things that it started to happen and it's coming into fruition tomorrow. And I'd say a second thing is really the response I've been getting with older Black women in particular, like women who could be my grandmother. Just hearing how proud of me they are, to see how young I am, to hear about what I overcame in my childhood, you know, from my mom losing custody of me and me getting kicked out of school, to end up being the first in my family to graduate from college, get a master's degree and a law degree. You know, there have been moments where folks have come to tears just, you know, talking to me and hearing my story. And it means a lot to me that they care that much about what I'm doing, and they care that much about my story and just the encouragement that they want to pour into me. You know, that's happened a few times throughout the trail, just really making those connections with people. And that's what it's about. So I guess answering your question is just the connections that I've been able to make with people, meeting people where they are, hearing their stories, letting them hear my story, and folks really seeing and feeling my energy and knowing that I'm something really, really different than what we're used to seeing when it comes to political candidates.